Hello everyone, this is Dr. Grubbly, here with the second build update for the Zombomber Puppeteer. Now, after last night's play session, I'm up to 10 hours, just under 11 hours. And the majority of last night, over 4 hours, was spent farming First Lab, trying to get the Zombies of Falling gem, and I didn't get it once. I did manage to get some quality on the minion life support because that gives more life. I put like some life or some quality over here, and I think actually even just 5% quality bumped this up to 5 minions, whereas before it was 4, but that could just be from the level. I can check later. Anyway, I did a bunch of upgrading. I think I'm now like 8 levels over zone for what I'm running because I did go ahead and clear Act 3 and go into Act 4, and now I'm like midway through. So I got up to 45, up to 1600 life, 180 energy shield, got some decent gear upgrades. Let's see what else we've got. I'm not worried about accuracy because I'm not doing any attacks. I'm only using spells. I've got almost 1100 armor now, and so 57 fizz reduction. And then we've got, let's see, so we got ES recharge, we've got 68 life recharge, or sorry, life regen, and very overcapped on Ellie reses and only 15% cast res right now, up to 38% block for attack damage, and still running Arctic armor, so immune to freeze. Now, DPS is feeling pretty good now, whether that's just because I'm over level or because of the minion technique with these zombies. I have been able to start using the exploding zombies tech because, as you see, I just summoned an extra zombie. I couldn't fit another one, so the first one died, and that causes the ground to the degen ground to occur. That's the one that's from the ascendancy for 30% of their life. Sorry, of their max life. Now, this isn't exactly my ideal setup because it's a little clunky. Like, I have to cast Desecrate if there's no mobs around, and then I can summon zombies and it spreads it around. But it's not perfect targeting. So for instance, if I do Desecrate over here, my zombies are over there, I have to aim at it. So like you see, the ground is over there where the zombies are. I can't do it right around me unless the zombies are actively on top of me. So I don't have the best aim with it, and I just kind of have to hope that the mobs go through. And without a lot of cast speed, it's not easy to keep that ground up all over the place where a mob can, be over it and I can't target it at them like I could if it were falling zombies. Now, that's the downside, but the upside is that the raised zombie gem, the regular version, has more life. So that 26% more life is not on the falling gem. Falling zombies says that you can have like a max of 200 and that the hits can't be evaded. I don't care about the hits because I'm not worried about their attack. I'm just worried about the degen from them dying. But the 26% more life is a more damage multiplier. Only 30% of that more because it's 30% of their life. But still, that's a more damage multiplier. So right now I'm running a higher damage setup than I think I would with the regular falling zombies, or with the falling zombies. But it is clunkier because I have to do Desecrate, and I'm still struggling with mana. So I was able to fix it enough that I'm only running 1 mana flask, but I did switch to 2 mana flasks mostly because I was running lab repeatedly, so I wanted speed. In addition, I did get a Chaos Golem of the Maelstrom in one of my lab runs as I was trying to get the Transfigured Gem. And I was like, you know what, this is actually good because it does a chaos damage over time aura that withers enemies. So a lot of my damage is coming from the Chaos Ground degen from the zombies dying, and that is being scaled by Wither. Later on, as I mentioned in the plan POB, I'm planning to take this node for increased effect of Withered. Right now, at base, Withered gives 6% increased cast damage taken per stack, and it can go up to 15. So with the 20% increase, I don't know how it rounds, but it's going to be 7%, let's say. So that's up to 15% additional damage taken. So if you have 7% times 15, I think that's 105% increased damage taken. So you're literally getting more than double damage when you can get them up to full stacks. So I'm going to have tech for applying the Wither later on, probably through totems and totems just with Wither. I don't remember if there was a second spell that they have to do. But yeah, they're just going to apply Wither for me. And with the multiple totems up, it'll be easier to get them up to stacks faster. In the meantime, one of the things I also am planning to do tonight is actually grab a guard skill, grab automation, and then along with automation, I'm going to put Withering Step. So that'll apply a Wither debuff on the mobs that are around me, and I can do that. The risk of putting Withering Step on automation is that it shares cooldown with your mobility skills, and it has a faster cooldown than Flame Dash. So whether it's Flame Dash or Frost Blink, if you have Withering Step on automation, it will use up the charges or put the movement skills on cooldown, and you won't have a movement skill to use. It'll always be locked, as my friend said, like after 3 charges of the Flame Dash being used up because of Withering Step, it will always use them up and you will never be able to Flame Dash. So I can get around that because one of the other options that I got while I was farming gems was, nope, not Vortex. Where is our gem here? Just our blue. Wait, where is it? I thought I got a Frostblink of Wintry Blast. If I didn't, then I'm kind of screwed. Okay, I can't do my tech. My idea was, unless I just put it somewhere else. Let me just double check before I finish that thought. Yeah, I thought that I had gotten a Frostblink of Wintry Blast, but apparently I did not. If I were using Frostblink of Wintry Blast, it has a casting time very similar to Flame Dash. I think it might be like 0.05 seconds slower, but it's close, although Flame Dash is instant the first time you do it. I was thinking I can just use Frostblink of Wintry Blast as opposed to Flame Dash, and that doesn't have a cooldown, it's just casting speed, and then I could have Withering Step on automation. So since I did not actually get Frostblink of Wintry Blast like I thought, or I just can't find it right now, then I will not be able to do that setup, and I could have Withering Step right now. The issue is I am low on buttons to push. Like, these are my easy buttons. All the ones with control, those are where I typically put things like, you know, the Summon Chaos Golem every once in a while, but I'm not using it on a regular basis. The control combo is a little too hard for me for my hand dexterity while I'm in the middle of combat. I've got enough buttons to push already, so like even putting it here, I won't end up using that in combat. Maybe I could replace it with the To Me button, or from that button, because I'm just keeping the merc overpowered for the area as opposed to having to call them to me to save their life. But yeah, so that's some tech I was thinking of to apply Wither in the meantime to boost the damage from the zombies dying. I could also grab Phantasm support to put on something here, but I'm not sure how much life they have. The zombies I'm really boosting, but I don't have room to give every minion I have minion life support. So mostly it's just the zombies for their chaos ground. So I'll show you real quick. I was about to go in to the harvest, so I'll just show what the DPS is looking like now. Although actually I'm a little hesitant here because I'm running on, yeah, ping right now is really bad. It's like 100, 200 plus, like it jumped up to 400 a moment ago. So I will just like clear, whoa, sorry, that's so loud.
This is not creation. This is perversion.
Let's do that. That should keep it fairly low. Yeah, I can see it stutter stepping. I'm going to be very careful in here. So I'm still using Absolution for getting the extra minions in. And also DPS, because I do have pretty high DPS with it. But then See, there's the pool. Let me just find a minion real quick. Not a minion, sorry, some mobs. Alright, I also got a Kineticist. So right now it's Kinetic Blast of Clustering and Kinetic Bolt. They do have haste, and she does do some really good damage for me in my zone level. What level is she? She is level 35, and I'm in a 38, so she's still pretty powerful. I was going to try and showcase this a little bit, but with the ping being so bad, it's just not going to work out well. So anyway, that's the differences for the build at the moment. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep going through the campaign and keep building on tank right now. My passive tree right now got the mana cost down here. I still kept this because I need the cast speed, because Desecrate and Raise Zombies both have cast time, so I do actually want cast speed. In the plan POB, I had switched it to going for this mana wheel to save one passive, but because cast speed is now important for the Desecrate and Raise Zombie approach, I am, at least until I farm that gem for the Falling Zombies, I am planning on taking the Arcane Surge wheel for mana. Let's see what else. Got this for some tank assist, and I'm debating whether I actually even want to go for this. The +1 zombies essentially is just extra aggro management on me, so it's really a defensive node for me. I'm not actually running specters. I'm not actually running skeletons. I have to think about it whether I want to go more full zoo approach and just have lots of people taking hits for me or not. It depends on the sockets. I haven't, counted it out, but right now just the zombies and the absolution minions are helping manage it for me. And then I did take the 30% increased AoE over here because the acid pool is not that big already, and I need mobs to be on it to deal damage, so I want that bigger. AoE support, I think, has a less damage multiplier on it, so I don't actually want that one. But I would really love it because having an even bigger puddle would be a lot easier with the regular zombie version, as opposed to the falling, where I can target it to where the mob is or where they're going. And then certainly I would be scaling cast speed because I need the zombies falling down for easier casting. If this doesn't work out and I feel like I'm struggling to clear the gauntlet content in terms of damage, which so far it's not, and right now, like I said, I'm building on tank, then I'm planning on going with SRS, really preferably SRS of Enormity. But again, even in that 4+ hours of farming Lab 1, I didn't see SRS of Enormity either. I would love that because those also have more life multiplier on them, and I could then do that. They cast and they go directly to the mob and then they die. If I do that, I would just have to figure out how I'm going to get points, or change my point setup to try and go for the minion instability, because this is 33% of their life is fire damage. I'm only really scaling their damage through generic minion damage. I think going with Wither is the only approach I was thinking of for scaling specific damage type damage. I don't actually even have a curse right now, which I was thinking I should. But I didn't see despair where I was looking. I also didn't try hard because again, I was just farming lab so much last night. So either despair, or if I go with minion instability, then I would go for flammability, something like that. This is 33%, and I would put it with Infernal Legion support, I think, just to kill them faster, because I haven't tested yet to see whether the SRS would count as dying at the end of their duration and then they leave the pool automatically, in which case I don't need Infernal Legion support. But yeah, so either way, this combined with the Ascendancy leaves them doing 63% of their life as damage. This 33% instantly, and then the 30% damage over time while they're on the puddle. So I think it's a good approach for the damage. It's just it would be point intensive. I'd also kind of like to go for this node over here. I'd initially planned on it, and then was trying to keep points down because, again, I'm really looking at this as going for Act 10 Kitava kill while over farming level to 82 in this case. So I might drop this chaos wheel again. I have to check and see if the extra physics chaos mods still apply in Kitava's zone. I'm not sure. But then it would just be 1, 2, and then 5 points for this wheel, because the 30% increased damage, this one has 12% damage, 12% damage, so that's 24, and then another 30 damage, because I'm using Absolution as my primary skill. And let me just confirm, but I do believe Absolution is a where are we? Where's Absolution? There we go. Yeah, Absolution is a minion skill. So I'm using that constantly, and that means I'm always getting that 30% increased, and they are as well. But the duration on here, the skill effect duration, I do believe does apply to the caustic ground from the zombies dying. So I don't know if you noticed, but oops. Let's go back to the hideout. The duration of the ground is not that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 3 seconds for the ground to stay around, maybe even a little less, and that's without Swift Affliction support. So I'm likely not planning on going Swift Affliction. I have to see. With this setup where I can't target it, I don't really like the idea of Swift Affliction. It's too slow to summon them. It's so much time standing still summoning. I feel like in Gauntlet I need to be able to move. So I feel like Swift Affliction could work better with Zombies of Falling, because then I can make sure that it's over the target and constantly moving. Yeah, so that's about it. Time to go for another farming session for at least another 3 hours, and do another build update tomorrow if I can. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.